What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sincere here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for November 29th, 2019's reset. So let's get right into this and see what we got good for this week. For our first gear item, I'm going to head over to Camp Hudson. Here, the gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 263. The armor is 863. Its roll for firearms 1,203. And the attributes it has is health on kill and disoriented resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the meat locker. Here, the weapons vendor has a heavy magazine spring with 5% reload speed, 4% crit hit damage, and 9.90% rate of fire. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the base operations. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical vest with the talent Rapid on there. The gear score is 261. The armor is 1,743. Its roll for firearms 1,134, and the attributes it has is skill haste, health on kill, and increased kill XP. And then also here we got a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid self-heal. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations, and the gear vendor here has a gunslinger's vest with the talent Reckless on there. It has a gear score of 264. The armor is 1,774. Its roll for stamina 1,114. And the attributes it has is health on kill, exotic damage resilience, and ammo capacity. And then I'll just mention this because here we have a prototype stamina mod with 264 stamina and 3% signature ability resource gain if you're into running those mods that get your abilities back quicker. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. You want to head over to the special equipment vendor. And here we got a Liberator if you don't have a lightweight or a Lova. This one here has a gear score of 268. It has 22% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is intense, vicious, and responsive. Also here we have a custom M870 MCS with a gear score of 280. It has 316% stagger, and the talents it has is vicious, deadly, and swift. For me, I only run shotguns in some PvE missions. I don't run them in PvP. Also here we have an operator mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 270. Its armor is 895. Its roll for electronics 1,252. And the attributes it has is skill power and blind depth resistance. Also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor on it is 1,231. Its roll for electronics 1,211. And the attributes it has is stability and disrupt resistance. Also here we have a prototype performance mod with 4% mobile cover damage resilience. Also here we got a heavy magazine spring with 5% reload speed, 4% crit hit damage, and 9.60% rate of fire. Also here we got a reflex sight with 7.50% crit hit chance, 2% accuracy, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the cavern. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 6% sticky bomb explosion radius. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Kerman Station. Here the weapons vendor has a heavy magazine spring with 3% crit hit chance, 11.50% magazine size, and 9.60% rate of fire. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Camp Clinton. Here the special equipment vendor has an Historian with a gear score of 263. It has 144% headshot damage, and the talents it has is Prepared, Competent, and Historian Repeats. Also here we got a Cassidy with a gear score of 268. It has 313% stagger, and the talents it has is Destructive, Deadly, and Boomstick. Also here we got a Vector 45 ACP if you still like to run this weapon. It has a gear score of 264. It has 19% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is Ferocious, Deadly, and Competent. If you like to run the classic FAL, we got one here with a gear score of 269. It has 18% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is Destructive, Unforgiving, and Adept. Also here we got a Black Market M60E6 with a gear score of 280. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Prepared, Sustained, and Fierce. Also here we got a tactical pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 279. The armor is 1,295. Its roll for firearms 1,237. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and burn resistance. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 6.50% Seeker Mine Explosion Radius. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to Dante's Run. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7% support station range. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to Autumn's Hope. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 2.50% smart cover damage resilience. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to Madison's Stand. Here the gear vendor has a prototype stamina mod with 259 stamina and 1% crit hit chance. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to The Last Call. Here the weapons vendor has a military MK46 with a gear score of 274. It has 21% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is competent, prepared, and capable. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to the Southpaw. Here the gear vendor has a Spec Ops armor with the talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor is 1,793. Its roll for stamina 1,239. And the attributes it has is health, enemy armor damage, and increased kill XP. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to West 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical UMP 45 with a gear score of 276. It has 20% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is deadly, responsive, and ambusher. And then also here we got a heavy magazine spring with 4% crit hit damage, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 9.60% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 269. The armor is 962. Its roll for firearms 1,172. And the attributes it has is health on kill and disorient resistance. Also here we got a Gunslinger's vest with the talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 268.
Supply drops will expire.
The armor is 1,729. Its roll for electronics 1,206. And the attributes it has is all resistance, health, and increased kill XP. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent Inventive on there. It has a gear score of 265. The armor is 1,177. Its roll for stamina 1,151. And the attributes it has is skill power and disrupt resistance. And also here we got a tactical gloves with the talent Savaged on there. It has a gear score of 274. Its armor is 930. Its roll for firearms 1,238. And the attributes it has is skill haste, health on kill, and crit hit damage. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has an M870 Express with a gear score of 274. It has 289% stagger, and the talents it has is competent, commanding, and vicious. Also here we got an M700 Tactical with a gear score of 265. It has 155% headshot damage, and the talents it has is Unforgiven, Disciplined, and Elevated. And then also here we got a Black Market M60E6 with a gear score of 272. It has 22% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is competent, skilled, and deadly. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a First Wave M1A with a gear score of 267. It has 157% headshot damage, and the talents it has is Prepared, Predatory, and Unforgiven. And then also here we have a prototype performance mod with 6.50% support station duration. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to East 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator pack with the talent Inventive on there. It has a gear score of 277. The armor is 1,292. Its roll for electronics 1,247. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and ammo capacity. And then I'll just mention this because I'm here for some PvE missions. We have a custom M8770 MCS with a gear score of 285. It has 342% stagger, and the talents it has is Sustained, Unforgiven, and Ferocious. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5% ballistic shield damage resilience. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to East 40th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has an extended magazine with 109% magazine size, 4.50% reload speed, and 5.20% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to 5th Ave checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone vendor has a small red grip with 18% crit hit damage, 2.50% stability, and 4.50% reload speed. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ2 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 265. The armor is 855. Its roll for firearms 1,239, and the attributes it has is health on kill and blind death resistance. And then also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Specialized on there with a gear score of 275. The armor is 1,293. Its roll for stamina 1,188, and the attributes it has is crit hit damage and ammo capacity. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ4 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7.50% support station range. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ8 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has an operator mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 272. It has 951 armor. Its roll for stamina 1,222, and the attributes it has is enemy armor damage and increased kill XP. Also here we got an operator vest with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 273. The armor is 1,845. Its roll for stamina 1,208, and the attributes it has is all resistance, health, and ammo capacity. Also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Specialized on there. It has a gear score of 272. The armor is 1,289. Its roll for firearms 1,175, and the attributes it has is crit hit damage and disrupt resistance. And then also here we got some tactical gloves with the talent Savaged on there. It has a gear score of 264. The armor is 921. Its roll for firearms 1,139, and the attributes it has is health on kill, crit hit damage, and skill haste. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ9 safe room. Here, the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has a heavy magazine spring with 11.50% magazine size, 4% crit hit damage, and 10.70% rate of fire. And I mentioned this because I'm here. We have a large suppressor FDE with 17% crit hit damage, 6% headshot damage, and 5% optimal range. And then also here we got a C79 scope with 18% crit hit damage, 5.50% headshot damage, and 5% optimal range. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video for November 29th, 2019's reset. I want to thank everybody who tuned into it. Thank you, I appreciate that. I want to thank everybody who's dropping those likes and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for that, I appreciate that support. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and I will see y'all with the next one, everybody. Take care, peace.